You know what? I'm just going live now. I don't need to wait any longer. Wow. What a day. You know what? I think we pretty much had a good idea of what was going to happen, but there's nothing more exciting to know than when I flip my screen over here and show you guys right here, the screen. There's nothing more exciting for me than to see that there is still room. Now, you know, we suspected that there was going to be a mad dash. You can see right here, 24,186. But this is what makes me so happy. 2,944 and only 357 within the healthcare. What does that mean, you guys? Well, what that means is simply this. You know, when you're looking at people that may not have been able to sit in front of their computers at 12 p.m. Eastern time, wow. You know, that I'm so happy that people now are still able to get in and get their applications moving forward. But yes, there are some bottlenecks. And so some of you that were unable to get some of the documents that you needed, that were delayed getting your confirmation of graduation, you know, we're not sure where you international students are going to sit, because like we talked about, it's filling up so fast. Like if we pull up the grads, I know we're a little bit more than that, 23, but you know, right now it's about 24,000. But to be at this stage, and yeah, it's absolutely amazing to really contemplate the fact that this hasn't just gone in 2 hours. Now I know why. For many people, it's over here, and I'm going to show you what the problem is. Well, first, let's just do a quick highlight. So we just did this. By the time I did this, Igor put these together for me. It's already changing, but you can see health, 1.74% from the cap. There is time. I am so excited. Essential workers. Yes, you guys that were on the front lines right here, these two literally were the ones, and you know, I'm going to put them both up here and spread it out here. These two right here were the ones that I was the most concerned about. Make this kind of a little bit similar size here. These are the ones that I was the most concerned about, because the reality, if you're working on the front lines and you just don't have time, you know, to take the day off. You don't have the luxury to take the day off. But when we're looking at this, it gives me great satisfaction to see that there is still time and there's room, and that people can work this evening. As I flip back over to the screen here, what I was showing you guys before, the reality is, yes, there is a reason this is sitting at 24,000 right now. There's a reason that it's not, you know, 24,307 right now, that it hasn't capped out. And we can easily check that out by going right here to this screen. And it's been all over the internet. Everybody's been talking about this. And right now, the pay your fees online. Let's just go test this out. Let's see if anything is improved. I'm going to go to permanent residence. No, I haven't already submitted my application. See list of fees. When we did this last night in my group and everybody went and paid their fees, boom, it was like instantly it was done and paid. Let's see what we got here. It's spinning. I'm watching my little circle up here, guys. It's going around and around and around and around. How long do we stay? I guess we could just let it still circle and see if it ever goes in. Why don't we do that? Okay. So right here, there is so much room still left. And maybe the fee portal, maybe the fact that this is still spinning is the reason why these numbers have not gone up. But what it means to all of you who have basically, you know, all of you that have been out there trying to figure out a way to get what you need when it was out of your control, when your school just wouldn't give you that document, right? When your employer wouldn't give you a perfect reference letter. And to know that the fees are kind of holding things up, in a way, it's almost leveling the playing field. So if we go back here, this is one of probably the most popular pages in Canada right now when it comes to the internet. Look at here. Okay, so now at least it's come to this page, guys. This one isn't the page I was going to show you, but it popped up. So we click on here, temporary residence to permanent residence. All right. I'm putting in 1 here. I'm putting in 1. Sure, I've got a dependent, throw them into. I already did my biometrics. I'm not paying another biometric fee because I'm exempt. And I hope you guys realize that. I explained that in the group last night. Submit. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if it prompts me. So far, so good. Okay. Am I a robot? No, I'm not going to pay these fees, but this is real life. This is what people are going through. So it didn't prompt the CAPTCHA code. Maybe that's a sign, right? Let's log in and pay. Let's see if this works. I want to follow it through because, guys, this is the one thing. There you go. There's the broken link, okay? So this is probably one of the main reasons why right here, these numbers are not going up faster. So people that paid their fees in advance, this is trickling up just with a trickle. These are starting to get a little bit more momentum, but we're still 10% here. But these are the ones, these healthcare workers, frontline workers, you know, these are the ones that I'm hoping that they have a fighting shot. Okay. And then of course, the French speaker stream, no rush, you guys. Do not hurry. I got a course I'm turning out for you guys, just special for you. But there's no rush. You don't have to worry about it. All right. So here, this is the page right here. This is probably the most visited page. Wouldn't you guys agree? And it was so amazing to watch what happened when this opened up. And I think by now everybody knows where to find this. They know where to go. But some of the questions that people are asking, at least me right now, people that were rushing to get it filed, there were mistakes that were made. There really were. People made mistakes. And before I get into the questions and just all the celebration and people that are so happy, I know there's people that are not happy at all. But I think when you look overall at what the government did on short notice, aside from the fee payment problem that we're experiencing right now, boy, you know, I can't fault them. Aside from what they've done to cut us representatives out, I worked in the background with one client to assist them and to review, and then they submitted their own application. But aside from that, that was it. I helped to review one person's application, and then they filed it on their own. Oh, family of 6. That was something. Anyways, like I said, this page right here, this one is probably one of the most popular ones. But some of you will have rushed and missed things. And one of the questions that I'm going to get a lot, I know it, is what do I do? Well, we don't know 100%. We do not know 100% if you're going to be able to upload through a web form. But when you log in, and if I flip here, I don't think I can, I got to try to keep it as careful as I can because this is a live example of my client that we worked through. And I'm super happy he was able to get in. Just a phenomenal guy. But you can see here all these nice little green marks right here. Let me share actually I better share my screen with you so you can see this. Okay, this is what it looks like applying to become a permanent resident. But the reason I wanted to pull up this page, aside from all these beautiful little green, you know, these green confirmations, you know, that you can actually go back and view. Isn't that amazing? You could delete them too, but that's gone. And so all of these that we had to upload, and you know, there was a ton. What I want to point out here is this right up here. Okay, guys, where it says you've submitted your application. If you need to update your application. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you can replace something that was an eligible, well, it was a part of the eligibility factor, you know, like you didn't upload your IELTS test. Like, I'm just not sure if that's going to save. I'm really, I don't think that that's going to fly, you guys. I don't think you're going to be able to then try to update it. They've told us repeatedly, anything that is directly affected by eligibility factors. But I had a lot of people who did letters of explanation and they didn't catch that right down here at the bottom. I'll try to find it without exposing any client information here. At the bottom, right there, you will see on the last part, you will see right down here, make sure that you guys can see it on my screen. Yes, you can. Okay, so right here it says documents related to the EAP are not captured in other fields. This is the miscellaneous one where you dump in whatever information that you couldn't otherwise find. And so in my course, I taught people to take their forms, and because we didn't know what was going to happen, sign, no sign, some of them it was not easy to bundle together, and if you needed to make changes, we put all of our letter of explanation into one document that we called the LOE information forms, and that's what we did. And so my client here, he was very gracious in letting me show and share this with the world, and so I'm very grateful for him. And but anyways, that's where it goes. It goes into that spot. Now, with that being said, some of the people in the course were racing and they missed that and they forgot to upload it. Right here, if you need to update your application, contact us. When you click on this, it takes you here. Then when you scroll through here and you're reading, still haven't found what you're looking for, Client Support Center, contact options, web form. Okay. So when we click on this right here, it takes us to the web form that we have always known exists. But at this stage, everybody, in Canada Permanent Residence, if you choose Permanent Residence Applied Online, like you can see here, it's not on the list. TR to PR pathway, at least at the top end, right here isn't on the list. But this right here, Permanent Residence Applied Online, could very well be it. But when you choose the drop-down menu, all that's there is Express Entry. So I'm hoping that this is going to show up here, but you have to wait for your confirmation and it will take time. I'm not sure if anybody, you can post in the comments below if you've received your acknowledgement of receipt email. That means your file's been assigned to an officer. And I'll tell you guys something. You first people that made it through. So if we flip back here to the stats here, the interesting thing, some of the students in my course, I think they're probably posting, you know, some of them actually had their whole application filed in almost 6 minutes. Like literally they had everything queued up step by step and all they had to do was upload. And so you can see right here, the reason that these numbers are not going crazy fast, it's because the fee receipt isn't working. So when I click on here, you can see that's what happens. It's broken. So those of you who are stuck, who are afraid that you wouldn't have a chance, well, understand if you can still get in here and log in and get to this point and fill in the information and upload it, you know, you're going to be at that stage where you're ready to advance to pay the fee. And here's another little tip. If you are still going through the application, when you complete everything and everything's a green check mark and you have this little check mark at the end, I was waiting for some little button to show up that I would click to advance. But in reality, you go up here and you click right here to advance to the next screen, which is pay your fee. So just that's a little tip, but I know a lot of you have already gotten this done. But my goodness, there is a window. There's a big window for people now who could potentially have an opportunity to get in because of the fee issue that we're experiencing right here. Okay. So right now, like you can see 24,701, it is not moving fast. 24,751, do you see how it's just incrementally climbing up? And that's good news for people who, for whatever reason, were working, couldn't get the day off. We're struggling to find where they could access this right here. So remember, if and when this allows for an opportunity to choose TR to PR pathway, you can then put your explanation in here, and in the IRCC web form, you fill in your information. You really absolutely need to have, you can see client ID, you need to have this right here, your application number. You need to have this one right here, and that's going to come back through your acknowledgement of receipt. So I'm curious if anybody's getting those back. Like I said, I only helped one client. That was it. And realistically, at the pace that things are going, I probably could have helped a couple others, but I wasn't going to take that chance. I wasn't. Alicia in my office, she was the other lawyer. Susan was busy doing other stuff, so she didn't even take one of these clients. In our office, we did two, you guys, two applicants that are both in, and we just couldn't take the chance. But when you fill this information in, at the bottom, you'll see here, when you click next, it will give you then the opportunity to upload your documents. So that's basically what you're going to do. If it's possible, if immigration accepts it, that's where you're going to fix whatever deficiencies that potentially you might be able to fix. And if you didn't have your medical, didn't have your police certificate, that's what you're going to do to upload it as well. So there you go, guys. There's a kind of a high level. What I did want to say, because of this, one other last little thing. because of this here, and I'm going to flip back to this one, because this is moving so slow, and because people still have a chance, 24,818, because we just crossed over 10% here. So because there's so much room here, I can't physically do any more evenings from 7 to 9. I am completely spent. I'm dead. Tonight we're going to have our awards. I've got some fantastic prizes for the course members that were the highest participators. Thankfully, Facebook tells me who they were in the group, sharing, helping. And I'm going to kind of preempt it a little bit, but I've got a $100 Amazon gift card that I'm giving to each of the top 3 that were just awesome, that helped and shared. And I'm really excited about that. And I also had a contest for the person to find the portal, the access point, this one right here, as fast as possible. And so we also have a winner for that. Although Igor, I think he actually maybe beat him to the punch. But yeah, so cool. So many neat things. And then I guess what I want to share as well is because of that, because I can't do I'm not able to do the lives. Will I go in there and periodically, will I pop in? Yes, but I'm not going to have a guaranteed, I'm going to show up to do a live Q&A. At least at this stage, we'll see what happens. But anyways, what I wanted to share is that we're going to offer 50% off. So the discount is applied automatically, and it's in recognition of the fact that the essential workers and especially them. And I'm going to have another course for the Francophones, but they can jump into the French speakers. But remember, it's the recorded Q&A sessions. You have access to everything that we've done to this point, all the lives, all of the videos, everything. And there's a link below where you can access that. So we've decided to open that up. I wasn't sure if I was going to close it off or leave it open, but it's going to be 50% off. So if anybody wants to do that, you can click on the link and you can jump right in here to this awesome group. Let's see if I can find it right here, the new TR to PR pathway. And all of the videos I want to show you guys here as I'm just flipping around here. When you go to more and you go to, I think it's media, I think is what it is. Media. Yeah. And then the videos. And then once you click the videos, you can see every one of the lives that I did. You can see how many lives I did. They're all here. Okay. And so you can go back and you can watch those. And as well as, all of the course material that's all contained in here, all of the lessons, everything. But I've already talked about that. So I just want to let everybody know. All right. I'm done with that. Now let's celebrate. Okay. Let's get in here and let's do some celebration. We've got a big shout out for all of the people that were able to make it. And let's just see who, and what I loved, here's what I loved about this most, you guys. See, we've got posts here right at the beginning. You guys are communicating amongst yourselves before I even went live. And boy, I don't know what you guys were saying before I pulled this stuff over here, but yep, Syed payment systems down. Is Mark there? Not yet. Now I am. So there we go. Alexa. Oh, look at that smiley. Smiley. She said, I did it in an hour. Bless you, Mark, for sharing valuable information to us. May continue to help dreamers. You bet. Having the live in the group, in the course, like right around noon, I think, is when we just started doing it because everybody had their applications done. And just like Alexa, within an hour, most of them, it was so amazing. And yeah, just crazy. Let's see. Kartik, good to see you. You're very, very welcome. Lucy, it was my pleasure. And the thing I love most is a lot of these people were not in the course, right? They just watched and learned and joined me in the evenings. And, we even have 725 people watching live here. So, so Girl Happy says, can we reapply and withdraw the first application if document is missing? This is going to be tricky. Now, here's the thing. What they had told us is if you submit an application and then you submit another one in the same stream, that the second application you file, they will cancel it. So that's what they told me. So it's very, very risky to do that. And my advice is that you do not. So that's the only piece of advice I can give you. Okay. Okay, let's see what else. We got a bunch of people posting stuff. If you have a question, put a Q there and then I'll know to answer it. Yeah, you guys are posting a lot of things. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So Saheb says, hey, Mark, I forgot to attach the pay stubs in the application page. Says contact us if you need. Yep, through ICC web form. Should I expect any trouble? Saheb, you know what? We don't know. We don't know. We really don't. Etiquette, thank you. Mark's our hero. You guys are too kind. You really are. Yeah, you're here for this. You were here for this, Mark. God bless you, bud. I can't tell you guys how happy I am that it's worked out for so many people, especially the ones who followed me, who had faith in what I was saying, who trusted what I was teaching. And I'm so glad that it worked out for you guys. So glad. Yeah, I don't know, M&D. It'll be a while. They said it was going to take a while, right? They're still sorting things out. Obviously, they're freaking out because the payment portal isn't working. So we'll just have to see. Anybody, post below if you actually received your AOR. I know I haven't seen anyone who has received them yet. Okay. Okay, Kevin says, I've applied for my police certificate, but I have a wife, I've not applied. Can you put an LOE for her? Yes, you can, but you need to show what efforts you have made to request it. So if you haven't done it, go do it. Thanks, Sneeden. I appreciate that. All right, this is good. Great. I'm so glad that it was helpful for you. Thank you so much, you guys. Let's see. In proof of entry and status, I forgot to provide work permit. Is that okay? Uploaded the stamped passport. You know what, Lovepreet? We'll just have to see. You know, in many respects, I think if you guys are close, I don't think immigration is going to look to refuse applications. They're not going to be looking for ways to refuse. But if you don't meet the eligibility stuff, like we're not talking about this proof of status. Well, proof of status is important, but like at the beginning when you first came into Canada, like that's kind of a weird question, but whatever. Yeah, I don't anticipate that's going to be a huge issue. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's true, Burke. Actually, there was a lot of people that were really ready. And, you know, I kind of shared a little bit of how I structured things. And I shared that with you guys last night. And I'm really glad. Like, I would love to see how many people were directly influenced by what I was doing to help them get their application in. I know how many were in the course, and that, you know, it just means so much to me. This need to fix so I can go eat. I understand. Terry, you're probably sitting there waiting for your processing fee to go through, right? Okay. And yeah, like a lot of people, so many people that just weren't in the group, like, but you learn from the YouTube. So, you know, when you like and you subscribe and you clicked on the bell to get the reminders, it made a difference. So Yvette, my absolute pleasure. Oh, that is awesome. Oh, yes. That's what I was hoping for, Yvette. That's what I was hoping for, right? Because it was building and building and building and building until the rubber didn't really hit the road until I knew yesterday. Was it yesterday? It's all a blur. When I had the technical briefing with immigration where they gave us a walkthrough of what to look at, like what it was going to look like. And then I immediately did a live session to all the Canadian Bar Association lawyers. And I hope the Consultant Association and, you know, or Acadie or whatever, I hope they did the same thing. But, you know, unfortunately, a lot of the Acadie members are also members of the CBA. But I did that live to help the lawyers kind of understand. And then I went and told you guys. And then in the group, we did a deep dive. I had a long, like, I think it was 2.5 hours. We did a Q&A to make sure everybody's questions were answered. But that, Yvette, is the thing that makes me the happiest. That right alone, where it says I paid last night and I got it done in an hour. Like that, I can't tell you, Yvette, what that means to me. And no, I'm not paying Yvette to, oh my goodness. Let's see, where am I going here? I'm going with this one here. No, I'm not paying Yvette to say that. And that's why I decided to open it, because given the fact that we're still sitting here, there's a ton of people that didn't know or weren't aware that can still benefit from the course. And if you go in now, because I'm not going to be doing live sessions, but you'll have access to everything, you can go in right now and you can learn what you need to do to be prepared fully to submit your application successfully. And it's interesting because when I think about this, the one thing, you guys, the one thing that I did not, the one slot that I didn't anticipate was just where they asked for you to provide, basically, if you were under the international graduate stream, a copy of your study permit. Now, within the bundled application, we included it in 3 other places. But while I was uploading it, I actually peeled it off of the PDF document, and I made it a standalone quick with my client, and then we re-uploaded it again just on its own, the original study permit to cover the period of education. So, but anyways, Yvette, thank you so much, and guys, yeah, go subscribe to the course. It's still wide open. Come join the Facebook group. See what all the fun is tonight at 7 p.m. You know, when you get yours submitted, and you know, as soon as the processing fees go live. But for you essential workers, yeah, so excited. And all this appreciation, yeah, just so grateful for all of the thanks. And it just, yeah, it makes it all worth it for me. And, you know, just to put things into context, when I decided to create that course and I decided to do all of this, the first goal was to try to figure out a way to help as many people as possible. And then when I created the course, well, Igor and I did that course in about 4 days with literally, well, I had virtually no sleep, maybe 2 or 3 hours a night, recording the videos, you know, trying to anticipate what direction they were going to go. And oh, I was so gratified when I saw that portal go live, and I knew every single thing that was going to be in there, subject to that little study permit thing. But that was no issues. We fixed that in a heartbeat. But just, yeah, even with the reference letters, when it wanted your duties and responsibilities in the reference letter, I was telling people that, and I was telling you guys that since the beginning. So grateful. No, you can't submit the file without paying the fee. It won't allow you to advance to the next screen unless you pay the fee. If we flip over here, let me just shift back here. And if you go back to, I think it's this one. Okay, if you go back here, actually, I'm not going to share that with you just yet. Let's see, I just got to take this. I got too many things going on here. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to advance one screen. Okay, here it is. Okay. So when you go, and let me share this with you here. Okay. When you're on this screen right here, this is the payment fee. You'll see right here, pay and upload the receipt, paying up your application fee. There's one more section up here at the top that's to finalize it, right? Once you've got provide the details, pay the fee checked off, then there's one more section right here. That's what you have to click to finalize it. Unless you have this as a green one, you can't advance to finalize. And you can see here, yeah, so what do we call it? 11-point fees receipt. I understand some people had problems with the file name not uploading, so keep it simple. Obviously in numbers, and they didn't have a problem with my period there. And then fee receipt, that's what we labeled it. But once you've got that green and you've uploaded it, then you will be able to advance to the last spot up here and submit your application. But without your fee receipt, you're not going to be able to do that. Okay, looks like I got a few things going on here. Let's pull these down. Pull them down. Let's see if I can find my, there they are. There, we'll pull these off. And actually, I guess I could stay over here. That would probably make things easier for everyone. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Yes, I know, Rosie. Yeah, we looked at that. Alexa, you're very, very welcome. Good point. So what would be the estimated processing time in this stream? Well, I don't know which stream. I'm assuming the international grad probably. This is the interesting thing. As these all start piling through, and let's go back here again, and let's go to this one. Let's see. So we're at 25,248 at 5:30. 5 minutes later, let's see how much it's changed. 5 minutes later, not a lot, right? Well, I guess no, it's gone up a bit. It's still incrementally increasing, right? So I guess basically, let me just see here. Yeah, so what I want to tell you is that the first people that got them in right off the bat as fast as possible, like understand there's going to be no delays, right? So if you were a person who had your medicals, if you had your police certificates, if you weren't missing anything, like if you were one of those people, then it's going to go right on an officer's application. It's going to go right on their desk. And I can tell you, or on their computer, I guess is the best way to describe it. And boy, like I would not be surprised if some people are getting their applications approved in like a week. Like I'm serious, because there's very little for them to do. The background screening, sometimes it's really, really fast. If you've already been here, you come from a country that there isn't a lot of security checks. You know, Canada's got good relations with them. I wouldn't be surprised if the initial people start getting approvals in like a week, you know, maybe 2 weeks. But mark my word, it's going to go fast because there's no queue, right? And then as we start to go, you know, you filling in the cap later and later and later, then your applications are going to be, they're going to be the end of the year. So that's what's going to happen. Very, very interesting. Good question. I like that. Okay, let's see here. We've got lots of comments back and forth, which is totally cool. If you have a question, put a Q on there, okay? Yep, Anaket's right. The web form's not quite out, so hang in there. Yeah, we don't know how long that payment page is going to be stuck there. Okay, there's so many comments. So what we're going to do, because so much has passed and I want to have this more current, there's a lot of questions that went there. I know there's a lot of people that are answering, and thank you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump to the end, and if you have a question, put a Q in front of it, and then you can start posting it right now, and I'll start with Ahmed here. So fresh questions, if you posted before, I'm skipping past it so that I can get more in real time and get caught up. So repost your question if you have it. If I haven't already talked about it, then I'll cover it. Okay, is internship considered a proof of employment? Ahmed, if you were paid, were you paid, and did you meet all of the other requirements? You know, do you meet the, if you're counting like proof of employment, it really comes down to whether or not you are paid, okay? Because you just have to show that you're employed, and that requires payment. Okay, okay. Ankit says, hey, while I was a student, I worked in an essential stream, and I have 1,560 hours. Am I eligible to apply under the 30,000 cap section? Yes, Ankit, if you're currently employed, and if you were able to accumulate that in the 3 years legally under your study permit, and you can prove it. All of that, yes. And that's one of the neat things about this program is even with the essential workers, if you as a student, while you were working throughout, you know, on part-time, those 20 hours during school and full-time in the breaks, while you were doing that, even as a student right now, if you met the eligibility, you can go through the 30,000 essential worker. You can. So that's really cool. How many applicants will get an offer this week? Okay, remember guys, there's no offers, right? So you're in. That's the difference between express entry. So this is not an ITA. You're in. You submit your application, you're in. Unless there's something wrong, they're going to process your application one way or another. You're either going to approve it or they're going to refuse it because you're not eligible. But if you're in, you're in. That's the neat thing about this. Okay, as far as biometrics, hang tight, right? If you hopefully you paid the fee. If you had not previously had biometrics done in the last, I think 10 years, then you would have had to pay the fee and submit it. And there was lots of confusion about that. We covered that in the group. You know, if you previously obtained your biometrics, then no, you don't have to pay the fee again because you're exempt because of the public policy. All right. Terry, oh, I got to give you one of these ones. Yes. So Terry was one of those ones that just a fraction of a second ago here, she probably increased the international grad. Let's see. So 25,430. Let's see where we're at now. 25,608. All right. So it's moving, but it's not moving lightning fast. It's moving relatively slow. So we'll see how this all plays out. All right. Let's see. Go back here. Okay. All right. So congratulations, Terry Ann. That's awesome. Congratulations. Let's see. Oh, Zion. Okay. He says, thank you so much, Mark. After how many years of waiting, having a work permit when I first came here. Yep. I know so many of you, Zion, so many of you that have been languishing here on work permit after work permit after work permit. Most of you working on the front lines, but never could score high enough to get an invitation to apply. Never realized that you would even have had a prayer with that draw 176, who lost that opportunity. And yet again, you felt like you would have no opportunity. And now, finally, wow, having a work permit when I first came here, then turned to student to be able to stay, having my baby in Canada. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to get emotional. That's not very professional, is it? But Zion, I know where you're coming from. And so a big, massive shout out to you. Big, massive shout out. I'm so genuinely happy for you. Man, I feel like some stupid YouTuber. You know, I think if I put my, if I was filling out my generic form and it was asking me what my current occupation was and the occupation that I was hoping to work in, maybe now what I'll say is lawyer is my current occupation, and what I want to shoot for is YouTuber. Oh my goodness, I could do this all day. This is just so cool. Okay, all right. Web form, like we talked about, the web form right here. The web form is this one right here. So when you go to, all you have to do is search IRCC web form. If you guys that are following, just post it in the link for this fine individual, and then she will know, Garima, what that is. Okay. Yeah, biometric requests won't come until they start working on your file, but just like Express Entry, it'll come, one of the first things will be that request. Okay, here's a question. Pam says, can I submit 2 applications under 2 streams as I'm eligible if I make a mistake? Yeah, you can. If they're 2 different streams, just not the same one. So here's a strategy. If some of you who have submitted under the International Grad now feel like, oh, dang, I made a mistake. Well, one of the options that you have available to you is to actually go and switch it over. Well, I shouldn't say switch it over, but go and submit your application through one of the other streams that have not filled up yet. So you're gonna have to pay the fee, and there's a good chance you could lose the 550. The 490, I think I gotta do my math. I'm trying to remember. Is it 550, 490? I don't know, it's all a blur. Anyways, the right of landing fee you should get back, but you will lose the application fee if you apply under 2. If you apply under the same program twice, the last one is more than likely going to be canceled. And even if you try to perfect it later, that last one's going to be canceled. But this one here, 30, you can see there's room in here. So there's nothing stopping you from submitting an application in multiple streams, just not the same one. Oh, I love this. This is so great. Okay, this is, I don't know, maybe Ferry is a consultant? Possibly. I think so, possibly. So it means you had and have access to your client account and file, Mark, whereas IRCC said applicants must not share their ID and password with representatives. How come you have it? Well, because I connected with my client via Zoom. This is a perfect example. Probably, I don't know, are you a consultant, Ferry? Maybe, but this is a perfect example because my client and I, we submitted it. We submitted it via Zoom, and I don't even know what the password is. It's saved in the web browser that we shared. So there you go, Ferry. Thanks for pointing that out. I love people like that. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Okay. And and in the Zoom call, the beauty of Zoom is that I was able to share my mouse pointer with the client. And to allow them to access my computer so that they could complete and fill everything out, and so that I wasn't doing it. So thank you for pointing that out. That's awesome. Okay, and I sure hope, Ferry, that if you are an immigration consultant, that I sure hope that you did it yourself too, and that you didn't get your client's password. Yeah, that'd be good. I'm glad that you pointed that out. There's always awesome people on here, isn't there? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, only student in Canada, Lesh. Only student in Canada. No other way to do the payment, Raj. Okay, my medical is due tomorrow. Where would I submit it after I am done? Well, ultimately, Lance, it would be through the IRCC portal, but don't take any action now if you've submitted your application. Canadian PCC, don't need that one. Okay, I put my LOEs in the particular section. Like LOE for PCC is the PCC section. Yeah, Nikita, that's exactly what I had my course members do. Absolutely. what I advised them to do was just for the forms, we had that separate LOE that we put in an extra space. And for all the other documents, we had individual document LOEs that we bundled together with those documents that were uploaded together when the portal went live. How many will be approved this week? I don't know if any will be approved this week. As you can see, they've got issues they're working on. So I don't think any are going to be approved this week, but they are going to start to come fast. And I would love to get reports from people on how well that's doing. Okay. IELTS expires on June 1st. Can I still apply? Heck yeah. Absolutely, Frema. You're going to absolutely do that. Okay. Biometrics, same thing. They'll guide you after the fact. They'll let you know. Yeah, this is something, John, that I think we're all asking, and I don't think it's going to happen. They have this vision that people are not going to be submitting a lot of incomplete applications. And so my view is that they've set these lofty targets knowing that they're not going to hit them, but they still, in my discussions with them, they still think it's going to be really high, and there's going to be relatively few that actually don't make it through. So at the end of the day, John, we know that there's going to be refused applications, but how fast those applications that are refused get actually refused, we're not sure. And whether or not it will allow for an opportunity for another draw to be opened up, well, maybe, right? But we'll just have to see what happens with the workers in Canada. We'll just have to see what happens here. Yep, we'll just have to see. So yeah, at this stage, yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to see how this plays out. Okay, let's do a little refresh. See where we're at here. Oh, it's still only climbing up, just creeping up, creeping. And you can see here we're still stuck with the fees here. They're not, let's see if we can go back here. Pay your fees online. We'll just test it out again in real life, in real time here. Whoops, not citizenship. Although we are going to create a citizenship course as well for all of you. Okay, let's see how long it takes here. I'll leave that turning around. Oh, wait a minute. I'm seeing something up here a little bit faster. Well, that went a little bit faster. Maybe people are still trying to see if they can get in. Well, I don't know if that went any faster. Okay, we won't waste time chasing that. We'll just leave it. And if it changes, I'll let you guys know. Okay, let's see what's next. Do kids under 5 need medicals? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. If you have a Canadian child, that Canadian child does not, but all of the other ones, whether they're, and this is the thing, whether they are accompanying you to Canada or not, if they're dependent, then they need a medical. Yeah, absolutely, Harmon. Some people had issues with, oh, that's interesting. I'll answer Harmon's question, then I'll show you what showed up here. Some people had issues with trying to pay with a debit, and then like Scotia, which is like all of you, right? Scotia Bank, most of you have banked with Scotia when you came in because they had great programs for international students. Well, the debit, lots of people were having trouble finding that. And so, yeah, if you had someone else pay your fees, that's totally fine. No problem. Sometimes for my clients with the applications, there's a number of reasons why they can't pay the big shot all in one. And so, yeah, so there we go. Okay, here's an issue. Mustafa says, for proof of education, I uploaded a new study permit that doesn't meet my education duration. Would that be a big problem? Well, here's the thing. Lots of times if people had multiple study permits, you don't always keep a copy of your old one. Most of you probably have them, but some of you may not. And it's hard to say exactly what they're going to do, Mustafa, but I think you've got a good shot of them showing some kind of kindness. I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say that the TR to PR pathway program is going to be one that's humanitarian. So it's under Section 25. It's a humanitarian application that was derived through public policy because they wanted people to transition. They wanted them to meet the levels plans. It's not like express entry, right? Where they don't really care. They've got more people than they need. And if your application is not perfected, R10, then you're shot down. So, all right, zipping through here. Okay, Venetia says, if I apply under the French for Schedule 3 under Section 5, do I list my Canadian experience? That's a good question, Venetia. And understand there's a number of programs, like there's 3 different ones. So it depends on which path you're going through. But do I list my Canadian experience? Yeah, understand you're still going to have to show that you're employed, right? and those elements of it that relate to the programs that you go through are still there. It's just because you speak French that there's no cap for you. That's what makes a difference for you. Okay, we got an LOE here from Van Duong. All right. Hi, I wrote a letter to explain why the company's name different between employer letter and pay stubs, but I attached the file without the supporting documents mentioned in my letter. I wonder if it's okay. Well, at the end of the day, hopefully you included your reference letter and hopefully you included your pay slips. I'm just trying to see here, but I attached the file without the supporting documents. Do you mean you didn't include your employment letter and pay stubs? If that's the case, then that's going to be tricky because those are essential parts of the eligibility. And some of you may find yourself in that situation. I can't say if that's going to be salvageable because at the end of the day, those reference letters are there to prove your work history. And they're an essential component of an essential worker. But if you are trying to prove that you're currently employed, then, well, letter and pay stubs is also what they asked you to do for that. So I can't answer that. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Thanks, Polinus. I appreciate that. But hey, maybe someone else can point out all the other things that I'm doing wrong too. I don't know. Maybe. I definitely do not claim to be perfect. So, yeah, I don't know how you withdraw, Vahid. I don't. That's the problem. Like, I don't know how you cancel your application. You know, in order to be able to try to resubmit. And then it comes down to, are you still going to, is there still going to be room? I'm just not sure. If we flip over here, this is what popped up now with the fee payment. Okay. So this is like, it's like a plain text kind of version. It's still here. Let's see if we can open it. So we'll click on here and see if it takes us to the payment. You never know. Maybe. Okay, I'm not going to sit around and wait for it. We'll go back here and we'll see if anything becomes of it. It's just a white screen. You guys don't need to sit and watch that. Okay, let's see what else we have. Same questions here. I submitted one document with the letter of explanation, but after submitting my application, I got that document from my employer. Oh, I see. Okay, so you didn't have that with you. I'm just not sure. It's hard to tell how they're going to treat this. You know, Express Entry, they're ruthless, but you know, I'm going to hold out that they're going to be understanding if you have the core documents there. Native language. So Harshot, when you have your language that you write in your native tongue, you have a number of ways of doing it. One way is to print the form and to handwrite it on and then scan and upload it. That's one way. The other way is to attach a letter of explanation or a separate sheet with the actual question where it says your name in a different language. I actually built that into my letter of explanation for my clients so that, you know, for the forms, because we included it all in one document. So I had a table where you wrote your name and you wrote the language in basically your name in your native tongue. Okay, let's see what we got. So we're here now. I wonder, let's see. Once again, I'm just going to keep it simple. I don't want to overrun it. Let's say there's just one of me and I don't need biometrics. Okay, let's see here. Submit. Let's see what it takes us. Ah, boy. No luck. No luck, you guys. We're still waiting. We'll see how long that fee payment. It must be just grueling for you guys who are constantly sitting at your computer for how long waiting to get that fee paid. Wow, that is just, I feel for you. That is grueling. I understand you can't even step away from your computer to eat. Hopefully you've got roommates or friends that can bring you food or can sit there watching and waiting to see when it opens up. But wow, this is one part that's really, really tough. I guess that big company, that big multinational who helped immigration to do the portal probably should have given them some tips on the fees, don't you think? All right. Okay, lots of people are asking about, I didn't get a completed application. I didn't get my complete information in there. Will it get refused? So I forgot to submit proof of efforts for the Canadian Police Certificate. You don't need to submit anything for Canada Police Certificate. You said, I submitted only my home country PCC in a hurry. Will my application get refused or they will ask me to submit later? Vidya, if you look at the instructions for Canada, You do not need to provide a police certificate for Canada. So you, my friend, I want you to sleep good at night. Sleep good tonight. Rest easy. Put your head down on your pillow and just take a big sigh of relief, because if that's your concern, you are totally fine. This is a personal favorite here, Omar. I can tell you, Omar, that when we, I think 3 times I had to flip-flop back and forth with these. And in the end, I'll be honest, it doesn't matter. IDRM is what I tell in my group in the course. It doesn't really matter. At this stage, it doesn't, because we've got that tweet that says we'll accept anything. And I will take that to any court in the land as you know, detrimental reliance if they then turn back and refuse applications because they don't have wet signatures. In all honesty, I submitted mine without signatures. And so, yeah, so do forms have to be signed and scanned before submission? No, they do not. Okay. Let's see here. We've got one about how to calculate the hours. Well, it's pretty simple. I just add them up over a year. That's how I calculate them. And basically, you need to have at least a year. So you can't calculate 15, 60 in 10 months. You need to be working a full year. But if it took you longer because you're working less than 30 hours, well, then you have to keep counting them up, adding them up until you have the 1,560. We have in my course, we have a little tool that we call the TR to PR hours of work calculator. And it helps you to fill it out in a way that you can actually present it to the officer and say, hey, look, I've got the 1,560 hours. And those are over the last 3 years. Here's a good question. I think, Aniket, I think it's going to take a little bit longer. Excuse me. I think it'll take a little bit longer to process an application. When I submitted mine this morning, like I said, I had myself and my good client, Lewis. What an exceptional guy. He had a spouse and he had 4 children. 2 were Canadian. And so it was quite interesting, and it was a little bit of work to get it submitted. But yeah, I think the officers, obviously, it will take a little bit longer to process one that is for a family. Okay, let's see here. This is another one. Let's say they don't like the photo you uploaded. Are they going to cancel the whole application, or they make us to try it again? I've never seen them refuse an application for having a photo that is, well, if it was so illegible, like you couldn't even see who the person was, you're probably going to have an issue with that. But I've never seen them refuse an application for problems with a photo. I personally haven't. Unless maybe someone might have had it if they uploaded something that was just, well, if you asked your 5-year-old child to draw a picture of your family, each of you do a portrait, and then, unless they're a phenomenal artist, well, even that wouldn't work. And you uploaded that, well, that wouldn't work, but it just depends. Okay. Okay. Vishafpal says, what will happen if I submitted the 2 applications under international grad category using 2 different email ID, but with the same payment receipt? The last one's going to get refused. And they know, right? They know. It's the last one, the second one, that because they're not going to reward people who submit multiple applications, who take up spots. And so what I've been told is that second one will be canceled. And yeah, so that's simple as that. Yep, Ledge only in Canada. This is awesome. Kehan, why do you lawyers charge a lot while all you say is already on the CIC website? This is awesome. Well, I'll let you guys respond to Kehan. I'll post it up there because he's obviously just posting it just to be fun. At the end of the day, Kehan, you are always free to do whatever your heart desires. I think people pay money because lawyers have experience. Lawyers understand the law, and this is a legal process. So at the end of the day, I'd like to hope maybe that we say a little bit more than is already on the CIC website. But there's a lot of people that you know, and make sure, please, that you clarify. So you say lawyers charge a lot. Okay, make sure that you clarify, because it's not just lawyers. Consultants charge a lot as well. Some lawyers don't charge hardly any. Other lawyers charge a lot. Some consultants charge very little. Some consultants charge a lot. So at the end of the day, it comes down to a number of factors: the experience of that lawyer, that representative. But at the end of the day, when it comes to whether or not all we say is already on the CIC website, I have to assume that you're just, I don't know, maybe you're just trying to make a comment just to stir, because I have to assume that everything that I've said hasn't been on the website, but that's okay. That's fair. So I'll let everybody else respond to Ken as to his comment. Okay. Let's see if there's some new ones here. Forgot to put down parents' date of birth. Like these kinds of questions, these little nuances, we're going to have to see how things trickle through. We really are, because at the end of the day, it is, we just don't know how they're going to, how they're going to go through. I don't know. I'm not sure. We're not sure how detailed they're going to be in their examination. Ultimately missing, we've seen them. I've seen them return spousals for not putting postal code in the additional family information. I've seen them do that in the context of a spousal sponsorship. So could they? Yeah, they could. Forgetting to write down a parent's date of birth on the family information, it's possible. I'll be honest, I can't say. All right. Okay, guys. It looks like there's a little bit of debate going on here. This is great. I am just going to turn this little critter on right here, which basically is the signal that we're going to shut this one down. I want to extend a sincere congratulations to everybody out there who was able to get through. And if we take one last little look at the lay of the land, let's flip the screen over here and I'll show you. So where are we sitting at as of 6 p.m. Mountain Time? We're still sitting with 26,000 because of the fee receipt issue. That's for the international grads. 3,198 for the essential non-health care workers, and only 387 submitted for the 20,000 healthcare. All right. And just a reminder, Canada's new TR to PR pathway course is now 50% off. You can go in and you can see everything that we're doing in here. You have access to everything. So I'd love to have you join us. We still have lots of room in here, and you can access all the videos, all the questions, comments, and remember that we have the course that's available. And within the course, all the modules contain everything from the basics to the forms and how to fill them all out, how I answer the questions. And I even have in these sections here, let's see if I can, actually it's in the document section. I'll show you right here. I have mastering your documents for medicals and for police certificates. I have a sample LOE right up here for missing medicals, how you can explain it. And I did the same thing for the police certificates. All right, and everything else that's in there. Great. Thanks so much, everybody. It was an absolute pleasure to have you joining me. Mark Holte, Canadian immigration lawyer. I guess the TR to PR pathway lawyer, signing off and saying see you later. Thanks so much for joining. Take care.